Who stays and who goes? Let's see who's going to be casted on season 13. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to discuss who should stay, who should go, and who should possibly join the cast for the next season, season 13 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I've made my own list that I wanted to share with you to see if you agree with any of my options for next season. And if not, you could give me your own options as well down in the comments and we can discuss those. But before that, I wanted to discuss the current cast and go down the line to see if any of them deserve to come back for next season. And one more thing, I also wanted to apologize for not uploading any review for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City last week, and the same thing for The Real Housewives of Potomac this past Sunday. So for Salt Lake City, I typically review those either on a Friday or Saturday, whichever one is more time convenient. And I said it before, I believe that I love Halloween, I love spooky season, I love dressing up and going out, I love watching horror movies every October. So when Friday came around, I felt so guilty that all I wanted to do was just watch horror movies. And I knew that Friday was the day that I typically review The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I'm like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Michael Myers, Jen Shah. Michael Myers, Jen Shah. Jen Shah, her trial is already scary enough. Let me go with Michael Myers. And you know, Halloween only comes once a year before Mariah Carey comes and bum rushes us on November 1st and she takes over for Christmas. So I wanted to enjoy the whole atmosphere as much as possible. So that's all I did on Friday. Just watch horror movies. But I feel so guilty not reviewing the show. I did watch it though. Let's just say that I'm already looking at the new friend of the show, Dana. I'm already looking at her like, next. But we'll eventually get to her. So then Saturday came along. Saturday was nonstop. It was just go, 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 go. Because me and my friends, we were going to go out later on that night for Halloween. So for Halloween this year, I decided to dress up as one of my favorite characters and favorite Sailor Scouts, Sailor Mars. She is one of my favorites. I love her. I love the color red. So I'm like, you know what? Let me pay homage and let me dress up as her this year. So I call up Dorit from Beverly Hills. I'm like, Dorit, do you have any red bottoms or any red heels or any jewelry, any Chanel, anything that I could borrow for Halloween for my costume? Of course, Dorit, being a good friend, she told me, of course, my baby, of course. I have so many red shoes and so many red bottoms, like the song Cardi B. Yeah, do you actually want to go to France later on today? We could be back by nighttime. We could go shopping over there in Paris. I love Paris. There's so many shoes over there that are really nice that they're also red. So then I told Dorit, I'm like, you know what? Never mind. You're talking too much. So I went to go shop for my own. And these are the shoes that I came up with. So there they are. They're red bottoms. You don't need to see the bottom. Just take my word for it. Allegedly red bottoms. And let me stop lying about Dorit. I never called that woman. Before she watches this video, like, wait a minute. I don't know this man. So then we went out that night. We had so much fun. It was such a good time. I know Sailor Moon was probably watching me like, what is going on with Sailor Mars? We're supposed to be protecting the world, you know, fighting evil by moonlight, not shaking ass by daytime. What is going on? So then eventually we left the club, and one thing about me, I remained with these heels. I stayed with these shoes on my feet the entire night until I got home. Like, I did not take them off. I had class. I was classy. I was not walking around barefoot. I was like, no, even though my feet right now are in pain, they felt like they were breaking in half. They were completely numb. But I'm like, you know what? As long as I look good, it's fine. So then the next day, Potomac came on and I was watching the episode and I'm looking at Robin's Family Fun Day event and I'm like, Robin, you can't be serious. Like, you're so lucky I did not review that episode. Because usually I try to squeeze it in. Ow. I tried to squeeze it in Sunday nights, and if I can't, then I'll try to do it either Monday at some point or late at the latest on Tuesday. And I had no energy, everybody. I was just completely wiped out from the night before. I had no energy whatsoever. I tried to film it twice on 2 separate days, and I just could not do it. I was literally in front of the cameras trying to hold myself together, like, and it was not working. It was not clicking. It was not working for me. So I'm like, you know what? Too much time is passing by. I'm just going to skip this episode. I'm going to rest and, get myself together. And then I'll be back for next week. And then Robin, hopefully, you get yourself together with these events by next week. So that's why I had no reviews for Salt Lake City nor Potomac this past weekend, but hopefully now we're on the right track again. But let's get back to the purpose of the video. So let's start off with Diana Jenkins and her tongue. Should she come back for next season or should she get the boot? Okay, so now that we got that figured out, let's go on to Crystal. No, let's give like 2 seconds to Diana and her tongue. So I feel like with Diana, she was very overhyped before the show even aired, simply because of that one clip in the trailer where she was like, oh, you want a new villain? Well, here I am. So because of that one clip alone, Diana, everybody went crazy. Everybody lost their mind. Everybody was like, oh, she's going to be iconic. She's so iconic. Look, she's going to be the new villain. She's going to be the new queen of Beverly Hills. And then she gets onto the show and then it's like, okay, so what else are we getting from you? What she should have said in the trailer was, you want a new disappointment? Well, here I am. Because that's exactly what she was. I mean, I saw the potential in her. Even I was excited when I saw that clip. I'm like, oh, who's this woman that's coming in already on her first season, already claiming that she's the villain? And then she gets onto the show and she's not even a villain. I mean, at most, she's probably like, like a sidekick or something. And to her credit, she did give us 2 to 3, maybe at most 4 good episodes this entire season, which honestly, that's not even saying much because the entire season is like, what, 24 episodes? So what does that say about her? But her feud with Sutton was interesting to watch because neither one of them was backing down to each other. I mean, then again, Sutton, she was always constantly apologizing when she didn't really have to Diana. So that was kind of like a bummer. And even if they decided to bring her back next season, I honestly don't see Diana accepting that offer whatsoever because she probably thought she was going to go into this whole situation with a whole different experience. And once she got the backlash from the audience, she was probably thinking like, wait a minute, what's going on? I did not sign up for this, for everybody to be throwing my skeletons in my face every 5 seconds. Let me remove myself. Let me continue being rich and underneath the radar instead of trying to be rich and famous and have this type of attention on me. Obviously, Diana, she's not the type to handle this type of attention to this capacity on her because look at her. Every time somebody says anything negative about her, she starts suing everybody. She's been suing people left and right, and that's no fun because look at Lisa Rinna. She gets dragged every 5 seconds. Even now, she just got dragged now. On Twitter, and I never see her trying to sue anybody, or at least not that I know of. Erika, the same thing. She gets dragged every 5 seconds, and she's never suing anybody. Well, I mean, she's not suing anybody because she can't afford lawyers. So that's a whole different story. If anything, people are suing her. But again, that's a whole different story. So again, Diana, she makes the show not fun because if we can't even say anything about you, then again, it's just like, what's the point? So I don't see Diana coming back. I feel like she should be like a one and done. The next person up is Crystal. Now, do I think that she should get a boot or a diamond for next season? I mean, with Crystal, I feel like it's 50-50. With Crystal, I feel like she's only been on the show for 2 seasons, but yet we have gotten to know who she is pretty well. I mean, she managed to fit into the group pretty good. So I think that she's a good fit for the show, especially this past reunion with her and Kyle. I feel like if she does stay onto the show for next season, I feel like we'll see what happens with that because obviously Kyle, she has had it in for Crystal the entire reunion, and Crystal, she was not backing down from her. What did she say? Oh, you're only saying that because you don't want to get canceled. Because you don't want to get in trouble. And I'm like, oop. That alone, she should get a diamond for next season. But I don't know. I mean, Crystal, maybe a friend of the show, like a friend of the show that's like in every episode, maybe. But if she does get a diamond, I wouldn't be upset about it. And she also did bring in, not her storyline, but everything that she shared about her eating disorder. She also shared that. And I'm pretty sure that there's many audience members who share the same story as her. So I'm glad that she, put a light on that. And we see her struggles and everything and how she goes through that. Even though the cast, they have a very hard time. I'm looking at you, Dorit and Erika, expressing their concerns and expressing their emotions with her issues and stuff. That's a whole different issue. Next up, we have the grande dame of Beverly Hills herself, Erika Jayne. Now, do I think that she should get the boot or the handcuffs? For next season, I mean, Erika Jayne, she's a very tricky person because I feel like the only way she should be back for next season is if Lisa Rinna is put on pause, but we'll get to that in a second. I feel like Erika Jayne should come back for next season because, I mean, she has so much going on in her life now with her legal cases. I mean, yeah, she was found innocent of one case, but I believe we still have 999,000 more cases to go. I mean, every 5 seconds she's getting sued for something. Look, she just got sued right now. Look, there goes another lawsuit right there. She has too much going on with that whole situation with her and Tom, and that's not really put to rest just yet. So I feel like it'll be a loss if she wasn't back on for next season. I feel like she does have her moments where she's cool, she's likable, and she has her funny moments every now and then. And she has her cool moments when she's not with Lisa Rinna. When she's with Lisa Rinna, I feel like then that's where Erika, she kind of gets influenced, unfortunately, by Lisa Rinna. And that's when she wants to act up and she wants to be like this bad girl and this evil person or whatever. Or maybe that's who she really is. I mean, the whole situation with her and Jax, that right there is just like, Erika, even if you are coming back for next season, I would have to look at you sideways a little bit. Like, you will really have to make it up to Garcelle and Jax and that whole situation. But I feel like if she was just by herself without Lisa Rinna, without her partner in crime, I feel like Erika will maybe show us a more likable side to her. Okay, now let me stop lying. Next on the list, we have Miss Halloween herself, Kyle Richards. Should she get a diamond or not? No. No, I'm kidding. With Kyle, where's my water bottle? So you're making me drink because of you. Drink water. Okay, so for Kyle Richards, obviously, she is the original of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's the only one still standing, I believe, from season 1. And would I want to see her come back for next season? I mean, yeah, even though she was a complete clown and complete foolish this entire season leading up to the very end of the reunion, I feel like, yeah, she should come back for next season because her storyline was just kind of like left out in the open with Kathy Hilton. That whole situation never really got put to rest. Her and Kathy, they still don't stand very clear with each other. I'll mention it later, but me and Kathy Hilton, we actually talked. I ran into her in person, and, she told me her relationship with Kyle and how everything is with that. And, we'll get to that in a second when I rate her in this whole group and everything, but we'll get to that. But with Kyle, yeah, I would like to see how her and Kathy mend situations later on. And her and Crystal, like I said earlier, her and Crystal, they had some type of spark at the reunion. She obviously had it in for Crystal for some reason, this entire reunion. So I would like to see where she stands with Crystal, her sister, and even Erika Jayne to a certain extent for next season, because obviously Erika, she didn't go looking for her at the end where she walked off the stage and started crying. So I think that the whole friendship between Erika, Lisa Rinna, and Kyle, that whole thing is slowly crumbling down, and I would like to see how Kyle reacts to that. Now that she doesn't have a group or whatever, is she gonna rely on Sutton and Garcelle? Is she gonna become best friends with Garcelle? Is she gonna try to use Garcelle as a teammate or whatever? So I don't know. I would like to see Kyle back for next season. She has a lot going on, and yeah, they're not gonna let go of that either, especially if she's attached to Kathy Hilton. And then that also brings up the next conversation: should Kim come back? I don't think that the show would be good with Kim, for Kim. Like, it would be interesting to see her come back, but I don't think that I would like to see her come back because I don't think that it will be good mentally for Kim at all. I feel like if anything, it's just going to destroy her even more. Then we have the friend of the show, Kathy Hilton. She's Kyle's sister, obviously. Should she come back next season? Now, part of me feels like, yeah, she should come back next season because of the whole situation with Kyle. But the other thing is, I didn't like that in that one interview at BravoCon where she said, oh, I'm not going to come back next season if Lisa Rinna and Erika are both still on this cast. Like, I don't like when housewives give ultimatums like, oh, she has to go or else I'm walking, because then all of a sudden Bravo or even Andy or whoever does the casting, all of a sudden they start bending backwards for these housewives and now they run the show instead of the producers. Like, I don't want it to be like that. And Kathy, I feel like she already does that now, because of her financial status and because of who she is and her fan base. I feel like the producers are already bending backwards for Kathy because, like I said before, I'm pretty sure that there is some footage out there of this tantrum of Kathy, either in the Sprinter van or in the club or whatever, and they just deleted it because Kathy was like, well, I have so much money, I'll sue you, I'll take this whole show down. It'll be the Real Housewives of Kathy Hilton. by the end of the season if you don't delete this footage. And I just don't want Kathy to take over the show like that. Like, oh, you need to cut out this footage. Oh, I don't want this footage in the show. I don't want this, and this. And absolutely not. Like, she needs to be treated like any other housewife on the show. And that's the only thing that keeps me really fully from wanting her back onto the show. And yeah, people can say, oh, yeah, like she should come back because Erika and Lisa, they should be gone, blah, blah, blah. But let's say that Kathy Hilton, let's say that her demands were, oh, well, I'm not going to come back next season if Sutton and Garcelle and Dorit, are back next season. Then what? Will everybody still be, here for Kathy? Probably not. So I don't like that. But let me talk about Kathy and me, our conversation. So Kathy, so I told everybody before, I mentioned before that I work at a place where a lot of famous people come and a lot of housewives come. And, Kathy Hilton, she had approached me and somebody else who were standing by. And I didn't know it was her. She was talking and she was asking a question. And I was just listening to her. And I'm like, why does her voice sound so familiar? Like, where is her voice coming from? And this was the day after the reunion, right? I'm looking at her purse and I'm like, wait a minute. It had a huge K and a huge H on it. And I'm like, obviously that stands for Kathy Hilton. I'm like, that is her. I knew I recognized the voice. And she walked away and I'm like, great. Kathy Hilton was literally right in front of me. Now what? So then eventually, blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another and she was right in front of me again. So I'm like, okay, should I say hi? Should I not? Is she going to call me the F slur? What's going to happen? Eventually, I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to say hi. So I was like, Kathy Hilton. Hey, Kit Kat. Hey, yeah, Raphael over here. So Kathy Hilton, she looks over and she was like, oh, hey, how are you? What's going on? I was like, hey, Kathy Hilton, how are you? I literally just watched you the night before on the reunion. So then Kathy, she interviewed me. She was like, oh, really? You watched the reunion. What did you think of it? And I'm like, oh, well, it's so funny. How much time you got? Because let's talk. So I was like, honestly, Kathy, I saw it and it was pretty painful and pretty sad to see you and Kyle fall out like that. Like, I want to be respectful because I don't want to, overstep my boundary with you because I know it's your sister, but it was so sad. And it's just like, it's pretty sad because I've been in that same situation with my own sister. We stopped talking for 8 months, but it was never to the, to the point of Kyle and Kathy. Like, that whole situation is just a whole toxic mess. Me and my sister, it was just something petty. So I told Kathy, where do you stand with Kyle now? So I took out my invisible microphone and I was like, yes, what happened with you and Kyle now? So Kathy, she gave me the exclusive, if that's what you want to call it. Kathy was like, well, honestly, I just really wanted Kyle to be there for me. I just really wanted her to have my back a little bit more. And I'm like, exactly. Like, that's what I was thinking. I mean, that's pretty much what we all thought this whole entire season, since the whole Aspen trip, that we just wanted Kyle to be there for Kathy a bit more as a sister. And that's what Kathy was telling me. Kathy was like, yeah, I just wanted her to be there for me. I wanted her to be there, on my side a little bit more. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty sad to watch. And like, where do you stand now? She was like, honestly, I mean, I don't know. The holidays are coming up. Obviously with the holidays, you spend time with your family and she doesn't know what she's going to be doing with that whole situation. And I was like, wow, like that's pretty sad. So again, I didn't want to overstep my boundary or make her uncomfortable because I know that could be a shaky subject with her and Kyle. Any other given situation though, I would have asked her X, Y, and Z. So then I was like, oh, Kathy, can you come over here for a second? Like, I want to show you something. So she comes over and I was like, wait, here. So I take out my phone and I'm like, look, this is my YouTube channel. And then I show her my thumbnail, right? To the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the reunion part 3. I was like, look, I used you as my thumbnail. And she was like, oh, okay. So then she does the most fakest thing. I mean, I'm not going to say fake because she was very, very, very sweet about it, but I'm not buying it, nor do I believe it. But maybe, I mean, she goes on to tell me, wait, what's your YouTube name? And I was like, oh, it's I Am Raphael. She goes on to tell me to my face. She was like, oh, I think I've watched it before. I'm like, Kathy, Kit Kat, Kathy, Miss Money, come over here. You did not watch my YouTube channel. Stop lying. But who knows? I mean, maybe she did. But if she did, I mean, I wonder if she saw my review because, I mean, I wasn't saying the best things about her. Imagine if I would have approached her like, hey, Kathy, how are you? She would have looked at me like, oh, so you're that one guy from YouTube talking shit about me, huh? So you think I threw the tantrum, huh? It would have been on, though. It would have been me versus Kathy right then and there. She would have had her storyline for next season. But she was so sweet. So then I was like, okay, Kathy, enough about my YouTube. Let's take a selfie. You want to take a selfie? So Kathy, she was like, yeah, let's take a selfie. But wait, first, can I put on my glasses? And I was like, yeah, sure. So she digs into her giant bag and she takes it out. She puts on these glasses and then boom, we take a selfie. I'll put a picture right here. But she was just so sweet. I mean, again, I still believe her tantrum. Like, regardless of whatever happened between me and Kathy in person, I still believe that she threw some tantrum and she had somebody paid off. Allegedly. You know, Kathy, if you're watching this, hey. You know, hopefully me and you don't cross paths again and you curse me out. But she was so sweet. Then we have Garcelle, and of course she should be given a diamond for next season. Is that even a question? Like, next? But Garcelle, obviously, she's a fan favorite. She's the only one on the show who keeps it honest. I mean, besides Sutton to a degree, but Sutton's mistake is that she always apologizing to the enemy every 5 seconds, so that's her biggest downfall. But Garcelle, she's the only one who holds everybody accountable for their actions, especially Kyle. I mean, Kyle, speaking of Kyle, Garcelle is slowly but surely pushing her off the throne of the Queen of Beverly Hills because Kyle and her 15 boxes of tissues at the reunion, she can't handle it anymore. I mean, she's obviously spiraling out of control every 5 seconds that she doesn't know what to do. She's also the producer as well as Garcelle, but she's also getting sloppy with it. Garcelle, she's the producer and she sets up scenes, but at least she's a little bit more sneaky and quiet about it. Kyle, she's just like, oh, hey, good morning. So, did you hear that Erika talked really bad about you? What did you think about it? You know, she's just all sloppy with it now and she can't handle it. I would like to see more of her dating life specifically because I know that she's always wanted to, date around. And I think we kind of sort of got a glimpse of it last season, but I would like to see more for next season, like her going out on dates and stuff, like one-on-ones and stuff. That would be cute. And, kind of step away from the whole situation with Erika. I know that this season specifically, she was like, really questioning Erika and her drinking problems and all this and all that. And that was her thing. And yeah, it was good to a certain degree, but then after a while, it's just like, okay, Garcelle, you said you weren't going to be friends with Erika. Why are you still continuing this whole questioning? So just let it go. So hopefully next season, she has her own thing going on. I would even like to see the footage from the book tour that she went on. Like, I would love to see her meeting fans, meeting the press, signing books, getting questions from the audience. I would love to see that whole experience of what a book tour is to Garcelle for next season. Again, stepping away from the whole issue between Erika, Lisa, and Kyle. Like, she could still be in the mix, but I would like to see more of what Garcelle does outside of the drama for next season. So now let me tell you about my interaction with Garcelle that I had a couple of days ago, right after Kathy Hilton. So the following day, I was at work and I was looking at this one woman from behind and I was like, I don't know. I think it was my intuition. Honestly, I feel like I manifested. Is that what the kids are saying nowadays? I feel like I manifested Garcelle in front of me because I was looking at this one woman from behind. Again, I had no idea who she was from the front, nothing at all. But for some reason, I just kept looking at her and I'm like, imagine if this was Garcelle. Like, I don't know what possessed me to think that was Garcelle. Next thing you know, that woman turns around and guess who it was? It was Dorit. No, I'm just kidding. It was Garcelle herself. She turns around. When I tell y'all, my body started trembling like a stripper. Like, there was no reason why I had to shake the way I did. I mean, again, I meet so many people or whatever, and it's nothing. But for some reason, Garcelle was in front of me, and I just freaked out. And again, the day before, I had just had a conversation with Kathy Hilton, and that was nothing. I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't really like nerve-wracking. But Garcelle, she was a whole different ball game. She was so tall. I mean, she is so tall. She had on high heels, but she looks so beautiful too in person. In person, she's a whole different thing than what she is on TV and on Instagram. She is beautiful then, but in person, she is such a beauty and she had no makeup whatsoever at all. So I was just looking at her and I'm like, that is really Garcelle. She is so damn tall. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I say? Should I say something? I don't know. I couldn't put myself to go up to her and say hi. I was so nervous. And eventually I was downstairs and I was going up the escalator, right? The stairs. I was going up. I was looking to my left, right? And then all of a sudden, just something came to me. I look over to my right. I'm looking that way. And then all of a sudden my eyes are just, rolling around. I look over to the right. And then as I'm going up the escalator, she's coming down the escalator and we lock eyes. She looks at me and she smiles as if she knew I was a fan. So I was like, Garcelle. I was like, oh my God, Garcelle. I just freaked out because again, I just did not expect to turn around and she's right there in my face. So she told me the nicest things, and after she said this to me, there's just nothing that anybody could say about me. She goes on to say, before I even say anything else, she was like, oh my God, you are so cute. And I was like, oh my God, me? Stop it. But keep going though. I was like, Garcelle, you are my favorite on the show. I love you. You are my favorite on the cast. And again, we're like going like this, right? She's going down, I'm going up. So I'm looking down at her. She's looking up at me. I was like, and I'm over here just screaming and out of control. I'm like, I love you, blah, 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 all this and all that. And she was like, thank you so much. She was with this other woman. I'm not sure who she was, but Garcelle, again, she was just such a beauty in person. She was so polite to everybody she met. She was so nice. She was such a sweetheart. There's just, again, it was just really crazy to see Garcelle in person and for her to say that to me. I'm like, wow, like that's all the validation that I need in life. Like technically, you know, if we want to be technical, I guess just because she spoke to me, I'm technically a friend of the show for next season. Next up, we have the Queen of England herself, Dorit. Now, should she get a diamond or a Louis Vuitton bag for next season? Now, with Dorit, you know, as opposed to last season, compared to this season, I feel like this season she was much more likable than last season. Even though, like I keep mentioning every other week on here, I did not believe her robbery story at all, no matter what. And, you know, that whole situation at the beginning, good thing that was kind of like, you know, like a one and done thing at the beginning. And then we kind of moved on from that. And I feel like Dorit wasn't like really annoying this entire season. I feel like she actually had her moment where she actually was like kind of level headed to a certain degree. And she actually had valid points to a certain degree, and she almost, you know, she was almost on the right side of things to a certain degree. Like, you know, I keep mentioning over and over, she almost had it right this entire season, and then she kind of make a quick U-turn, like she's almost on the winning team with Sutton and what's her name? And Garcelle and Kathy. Next thing you know, she'll just be like, hold on guys, I'm coming to join your side. Wait, I miss Kyle and Lisa. I'm going that way. And then she'll just go right back. Like she almost had it to the point where she almost had her own spine, her own skeleton, her own mind again, but she'll just go right back to being everybody else's puppet. And that was unfortunate. I feel like we almost got to see the old Dorit back, but then again, she kept slipping and sliding every now and then. And on top of that, the whole situation with her and Erika, that didn't help her case either. So would I like to see her come back for next season? As a diamond holder, absolutely not. I think as a friend of the show, she'll be much better. Like maybe we could see her like every ninth episode. Then we have the orange M&M herself, Lisa Rinna. Now, should she be given a diamond or the boot for next season? Now, Lisa Rinna, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put you on pause for next season. I feel like Lisa needs to skip season 13 and maybe come back for season 14, just so she could calm the fuck down a bit. You know, because I know that she brings the drama every season, but I just feel like now she's just out of control. She's almost like a train wreck that you can't look away. And people love to hate watch this whole season, specifically with the season 12, with Erika and Lisa. Like people are like, oh, I can't stand Lisa. I can't stand Erika. Oh, I can't stand them. But let me tune in anyway to see what they're doing. So in that aspect, yeah, it is interesting because Lisa Rinna, whether you like it or not, she is entertaining. She is very unpredictable. She's predictable in the way where, yeah, we already know that she's going to try to take somebody down or betray one of her close friends. She's predictable in that aspect. Well, what comes out of her mouth is what's unpredictable. But then again, this past season, I just feel like she just took it too far and took it all over the place with the whole, oh, you know, by her lying to me, she's going to give me cancer and all this and all that. I feel like, you know, she should mourn her mom's death off of camera and kind of like relax, you know, go to therapy, maybe go make some pasta sauce with Harry Hamlin and, you know, go over there and everything and garden with him and maybe just relax, you know, and on top of that, her saying that she's like the LeBron James of the Housewives and stuff, absolutely not. That's a bigger reason to put her on pause because her head, obviously it's so big that she thinks that she's like the HBIC of this season and she's not. Up next is Sutton, and just like Garcelle, yeah, she should be given a diamond for next season. It has been interesting to see her whole dynamic on this show from her very first season up to now, like to see her whole transformation. I mean, last season, she was a full-on Karen. She was emotional and all over the place. This season, yeah, she's emotional and she's still kind of all over the place. But at least now she's kind of getting more of a backbone against Kyle and everybody else. I mean, yeah, I didn't like that she kept apologizing to Dirty Diana and her tongue every 5 seconds. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I want to be your friend. You know, that whole thing between her and Erika always trying to kiss her ass every 5 seconds, as well as Diana. That was kind of annoying to see. And hopefully Sutton, you know, she looks back and she sees that, oh, yeah, maybe I should stop with that behavior. Moving forward, these people are not my friend, obviously. And again, if Lisa Rinna is removed from the whole situation, I would like like to see where her friendship with Erika goes, because I feel like Erika is going to be more open to being friends with Sutton now that Lisa Rinna is not in the picture, if she's put on pause. As for the last housewife, should she come back or not, Cherie. Okay, so we're gonna move on to some of the women that I think that should join the cast for the next season. Starting off with one of Sutton's best friend, Jennifer Tilly. I love Jennifer Tilly. I feel like she'll be an amazing addition to the show. But then again, I'm just like, I think my favoritism towards Jennifer Tilly is what's blinding me in the way of seeing that, yeah, I don't think that she'll be a good fit for the show, in the aspect of, if she does come onto the show, I feel like, yeah, she'll be, teammates with Garcelle and Sutton and everything. And she's obviously close friends with Sutton. But at the same time, I feel like she won't be able to handle Kyle, Erika, Lisa Rinna, or even possibly Dorit. Nah, she's going to be able to handle Dorit. And the only reason I say this is because Jennifer Tilly recently in an interview, I believe she or Sutton has spoke for her, and she said that she would not be able to handle the Real Housewives drama. Like, she doesn't know how Sutton does it, so I don't see how she will be able to do it herself. I will personally love to see her on, just to see, like, her filming for the show. Chucky, Tiffany obviously is one of my favorite characters, the doll, and I would like to see that. I would like to see her relationship with Chucky on screen. See what that marriage is like and stuff. And I would love to hear her voice. I mean, can you imagine hearing her voice like in the tagline openings and stuff? Like, I could only picture it like, hey, everybody, I'm Tiffany, Chucky. She has that seductive voice, so I would like to see her doing that. She's also a good famous poker player as well. I would like to see her doing that. My next option will be Adrienne Bailon, which is Garcelle's co-worker from The Real. I would love to see her come in as Garcelle's friend and see their interaction, see what Adrienne is up to. I believe she just got a show on News, I believe now. She just had a baby. She's married, I believe. She also lives in LA. So I think that she'll be a perfect fit to come onto the show as Garcelle's friend. And I'm pretty sure that she was already kind of introduced on the show at Garcelle's party. If I'm not mistaken, her and Lonnie Love were also on the show, like in the background or whatever. So I would love to see Adrienne on the show. And the messy part of me will also like to see Naturi, her ex member from the 3LW. I would like to see her also on the show. And Keely, Miss Promises. I would love to see all three of them on the show and see how they interact and stuff. But don't tell them that they're all coming on the show together. Like, just get Adrienne and Garcelle together, and then all of a sudden, Garcelle, being the producer, or even Kyle, she's like, oh, Adrienne, I want you to meet my friend, actually. Did you meet Keely? And then all of a sudden have Keely come, have Naturi come, and then they could sit down and kind of hash it out and stuff. It could be like instead of the 90210, it could be like the 902 3LW. So I would like to see Adrienne. I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that she'll be a good, fit for the show? So the next person on my list of possibly joining for the next cast is, I know y'all are not going to like this one, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. Natalie Nunn. Ooh. What do we think about Natalie Nunn? I mean, the idea popped into my head because I was watching her show recently, the Baddies South or Baddies West or whatever, and I was watching her and I'm like, could I see you possibly being on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I mean, I just feel like she'll be like Lisa Rinna times 100. And that's saying something, because Natalie Nunn, if you watched her from Bad Girls Club season 4 all the way back then, all the way up to now, she is still a hot ass mess. I mean, can you picture her? I mean, she's known for screaming out, oh, I run LA, I run LA, I run LA. I'm pretty sure that her tagline will be, I used to run LA, now I run Beverly Hills. And obviously she does everything like Lisa Rinna, similar to her. She brings the drama. She's always getting into it with somebody for no reason. She's always about the bag, about the bag, about the bag. You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe she's not a good fit for the show. Oh, she will get on my nerves. But what do y'all think? Natalie Nunn, can y'all give her a shot? Do y'all see her being on the show? I mean, I could definitely picture her just being so messy with Kyle, Erika, Garcelle, Sutton. I could picture her just backstabbing everybody by the first episode. My next option will be Nazanin Mandy. She's known for being Miguel's girlfriend. Miguel the singer. This love is a sure thing. We don't really know much of Nazanin besides her, divorcing Miguel every other weekend. Like, one minute they're divorcing, the next they're not, the next minute they are. They don't know what they are. I believe that they're married, or fiance or boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm not sure. But again, every now and then they're breaking up. I think officially, as of now, they're going through a divorce. I'm not sure, but it will be interesting to see how that plays out on the show. Maybe Miguel will make a cameo here and there. I'm pretty sure that he would love to promote his music. And it will also be nice to see who she is as a person outside of being Miguel's wife or girlfriend or whatever they are every other weekend. Because again, one second they're divorced, the next they're calling it off, the next they are divorced, the next they're not. So I'm not sure. Again, I will also like to see the backstory of their relationship, how they met, why are they going through a divorce, what made them not go through a divorce, what made them like switch their minds every 5 seconds. Again, and she'll also be good for with the fashions because she does know how to dress. I think that she's a model as well. She's just a beautiful woman overall. So I think that she'll be a good fit for next season. What do y'all think? The next one up on my list is Eva Longoria. So the reason why I chose her is because I believe she's the owner of the tequila that Kathy kept trying to promote the entire season, that Kyle and Lisa kept trying to shut her down from doing. And I believe that it will be such an interesting dynamic to see a friend of the show, Kathy Hilton, introduce another friend of the show. Like, can you imagine that? I mean, then again, I wouldn't want her to be a friend of the show. I would like Eva Longoria to actually hold the diamond. So that way her and Kathy could already have a relationship before the show. Because again, they're here to promote the tequila. And I'm pretty sure that Eva Longoria, she would not take too well with Lisa Rinna if she's back for next season. Or even Kyle, trying to stop Kathy from promoting the tequila this entire past season. I'm pretty sure that Eva will come into the season like, oh wait, so what's going on? So what happened with my tequila last season? Why wasn't it promoted as much? So she's coming in already with a motive and a storyline and a friend with Kathy Hilton. And again, her and Kathy together, yeah, that's a pretty interesting dynamic. And wouldn't it also be interesting because Eva Longoria, she's an actress. We have also seen her on Desperate Housewives, the show that kind of launched the Real Housewives to begin with. That's where the whole idea came from. So it'll be interesting to see like the kind of like the crossover, like from Desperate Housewife to the Real Housewife. I mean, instead now she'll be a real desperate housewife. Niecy Nash is the next one on my list, and she'll be a perfect addition for the cast for a couple of reasons. One, starting off with her confessionals. She's already hilarious, so can you imagine her commentary in the confessionals? And that is something that the Beverly Hills Housewives is missing. They don't really have too much comedy or too much, like funny moments or anything. It's always like serious, scandal, criminal, allegedly, or, lawsuit. I'm looking at you, Erika. You fit all those categories. And we don't really have too many funny moments. I mean, when we do, it's kind of like, oh, here's a funny moment here and there. Now back to being serious. So I feel like Niecy Nash will be funny on the show. And on top of that, she'll also bring diversity to the show. Not only her being a black woman on the show, but she's also married to another woman. And yeah, we had lesbian couples before, I believe in Miami, currently, I believe, and in Orange County at some point. But it'll be nice to bring that over to the 90210. So I would like to see more of their relationship because I see pictures of them online. But what else is there behind the scenes? Like, how is their relationship on a day-to-day basis? I would like to see more of that. And again, also more of Niecy Nash's career and her interaction with the group. I would like to see it. What do y'all think? The next person on my list, out of everybody I've mentioned so far, I feel like she'll be the perfect casting choice for this show, and that is Michelle Visage. I would love to see her on the show. If you don't know her, she used to be in a group back in the 80s called Seduction. She's known for the song, "It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right." She's also known for being one of the judges on the show, RuPaul's Drag Race, next to RuPaul. And if you watched her on that show, you'll see that she does not play with people. Like, she's going to give it to you straight no matter what. And on top of that, she's also from New Jersey, and obviously that's where I'm from, and she always reps it on the show. So I would love to see her representation of New Jersey in Beverly Hills. I would love to see that. I believe she lives in LA as well. So that's close enough. To the 90210. And I would love to see her on that show because, if you watch the RuPaul's Drag Race show, you'll see with her critiques to the queens, you'll see that she is not going to be playing with Kyle, Lisa, Erika, or even Dorit. Like, if Dorit shows up, in a trash bag, I'm pretty sure that Michelle is probably going to look at her like, Shantae, away. She is not going to be playing with any of the women. I could definitely see her mixing really well with the group. I could see her, Sutton, and Garcelle. I could see them having such a good time. I can honestly even see her and Erika Jayne having a good time as well, to be honest, if we're being honest. And I could also picture her and Kyle bumping heads because Kyle, she'll probably think that she's like the head boss or whatever. And Michelle, she is not going to be playing those type of games with you, Kyle. The next two is a 2-for-1. So if you watch the show on Netflix called Bling Empire, there's two characters on that show that they like bump heads a lot. It's almost like they're like Giselle and Karen from Potomac. They have the same relationship to a certain extent. And they go by the name Christine Chu and Anna Shay. That's their names. And I would love to see both of them together on the show, especially Christine. Christine plays such a good villain on that show, Bling Empire, and her nemesis is Anna Shay. Anna Shay, again, she's like Karen Huger, and Christine is like Giselle without Jamal. And I would love to see both of them come onto the show. I believe that Christine, at some point, she was on the show last season. She threw a party, and I think Crystal, because she knows Crystal, I believe, she was there on the show for like a split second, or it was her party, and we saw her for like a split second, and I would love to see her be introduced as Crystal's friend, like, oh, I'm also on the show. Anna Shay, she could also be on the show as well, and I would love to see them bump heads. Anna Shay, I could already see her getting into it with Erika Jayne. If you watch Bling Empire, you know, you could see that Anna Shay and Erika, they just would not mix well, especially Anna Shay and Lisa Rinna. I could definitely see Lisa Rinna trying to take her down as well. Christine, she's a really good villain on that show, and she has a very interesting plot line too with her husband. I believe her husband's family does not like her for some reason, and they look down at her for some reason. I forgot what, because she couldn't give birth or something like that, but she has a really rocky relationship with her husband and his family, and it's pretty sad to watch, honestly, because I feel like she's too good for her husband and his family. I feel like her husband just doesn't care about her, honestly. Anna Shay, she's single and she's just always out there, you know, buying everything. She's always, you know, and they both got money too. They got the coin. You know, they got more than Beverly Hills money. So I'm pretty sure I would love to see them on the show together. Christine, I love how she dresses as well. Again, just look up her Instagram. I just bring her on the show, please. And those two will be my last recommendations for now. A couple of honorable mentions will be Giselle. I can't pronounce her last name. I think it's Giselle Bundishi, something like that. She is Tom Brady's current ex-wife, or at least they're about to be divorced. I don't know if she's too good for this show. But I would love to see Giselle on this show as well, even though I think that she lives in Miami. One or the other, you know, she could be, you know, she could just, you know, buy a house or two in Beverly Hills and move in there for a season or two. But I would like to see her being on the show just to see what the dynamic is between her and Tom Brady and what happened between their fallout. But I'm not sure. I don't think she'll actually do the show. What do y'all think about any of my options? Should any of them get a diamond for next season? Do you know any of them? Can you see any of them mixing well with the cast? Or do you not see any of them holding a diamond, let alone a pebble for next season? Let me know down in the comments who would you personally like to see on for next season, or if any of my options were good enough to make it to next season. And what would you want to see for next season? Would you want to see Erika, Kyle, Garcelle, Sutton, or even Lisa Rinna back for next season? Or, you know, should they make some type of cuts? Supposedly, they stopped filming until January. So, typically they start filming in October. Now they pushed it back to January, and I wonder why that is. Maybe they're trying to get, you know, a certain specific cast. They're trying to see what they're gonna do with this cast and who's gonna be cut or whatever. I'm not sure. Hopefully it doesn't go down the same route as the Real Housewives of New York, and we don't ever see it again. But we shall see what happens with that. But again, let me know what you all thought about my list down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.